This is a visual walkthrough of an ISO or image test. As you can see, we're going to utilize the ISO testing walkthrough that you can find on the Ubuntu Quality Team Wiki, as well as the ISO tracker. And both of these links can be found below this video in the video description so that you're able to follow along. So as a prerequisite requirement, we're going to be utilizing VirtualBox and testdrive. So if you don't already have those tools installed, go ahead and do so now. You'll also need a Ubuntu SSO or Launchpad account, and you can follow the handy sign up link if you need one of those. So as part of this walkthrough, we're going to be performing a single test case on Ubuntu i83 desktop ISO. And again, we're going to be utilizing a virtual machine for this, but real hardware is essentially the same. You would need to burn the image to a CD or to utilize a USB stick, but otherwise you can also follow the tutorial. So as a prerequisite, make sure you understand what the QA tracker is, and if you click that link, that'll take you to another wiki page that talks a little bit more about the tracker, some of the terms that we use, and I will spare the details. I'm going to assume you know and understand what we're talking about. So first things first, we need to log into the tracker, and I will go ahead and do this now. Okay, as you can see, I'm logged in. Got my name at the top. Now, as part of this walkthrough, we're going to go ahead and test a daily ISO, and in this case, we are in the Rawring series for development, and so I'm going to go ahead and click Rawring Daily. I'm going to use the filters here at the left to go ahead and remove everything but Ubuntu so that I can see what I'm looking for. Okay, there it is. I want the Ubuntu desktop i386 ISO, and specifically we're going to test the install entire disk test case. Now, this test case is a good example of utilizing Ubiquity to perform a very basic installation, and as you'll see, there's not a lot of extras or not a lot of additional things that we need to know or understand in order to perform this test case. You can see at the top here there's a link to the download information. If you don't have the ISO, you could utilize this link, but in our case we're going to utilize testdrive, and as you can see, I've already synced the ISO in question, so we don't need to worry about that. Go ahead and open up the test case, and I'm going to launch the virtual machine. So, as I said, I'd already synced the image in this case, and to utilize testdrive, all you need to do is select the image in question, click it, hit the sync button, and it will download the image and keep you up to date. And the way this works is it utilizes a tool called ZSync to only download the bits of information that is needed from your last image, the last time that you synced. So this saves you some download speed and download time and a little bandwidth as well. Okay. So, since I've launched it, I've actually already started the test case. So, before you do this, you'll actually want to go ahead and familiarize yourself with the test case. Since we're talking about an ISO or image test, the test literally starts once you have started the machine with the image inside of it. So in this case, you can see that I'm supposed to boot up the ISO to a live session, and that is in fact where we are. And you'll see that the test case here is in the format of perform an action and expect a result. And if we hop back over to the walkthrough here, you can see that we've skipped down past this obtaining the ISO, and we're now at the executing the test case stage. So I just wanted to load the format quickly. So let's go ahead and quickly look at this. Normal test cases Again, the description is step-by-step instructions with an action and an expected result. So this is handy to review in case this idea is new to you. You'll notice that sometimes you can have multiple expected results or no expected results at all, and those are both valid. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm supposed to click on the Install Ubuntu button. I'm going to go ahead and do so. Let's move this to the side so we can see both the test case and the image at the same time. Okay, so on this screen we're supposed to note the state of the check marks. This is not a laptop, so we simply have the disk space check, and it's an 8 gig disk by default, and I am connected to the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. Now, here's the installation screen. Now, we have different test cases to test the different versions of installation types here. In this case, again, we're going to go with the simple one. Just erase the disk and install Ubuntu. So I will go ahead and click install now. And as we noted in our test case, the erase disk and install Ubuntu radio button was checked by default. And again, there is only one hard disk in the system, so it did read now. And again, the expected result here is that the Where Are You screen should occur. If there had been more than one hard disk in the system, in this case there's not, I would have gotten the installation type screen. So as it says, I can go ahead and skip to step 10. So it's actually pre-selected my time zone here as New York. And if I look at step 10, indeed, it does match my time zone. And I can go ahead and select my time zone, which in this case, New York is fine. And I will hit the continue button. Keyboard layout. That is the expected result. And that the proposed keyboard corresponds to my keyboard. Both those things are true. I see the keyboard layout screen, and the proposed layout of English US is indeed my keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. Now we have the Who Are You screen. I'm on step 13 now. It's asking me to input my initial username and details. And so I went ahead and put in my username, password, as it said. Now you'll notice the final step here is that the continue button is enabled. So as I was inputting my information, once I finished and everything matched, I got all my check marks here, the continue button is enabled. So we can say step 13 passed. 14. I click on the continue button and the Welcome to Ubuntu slide is displayed. Indeed, here we are. And I can even page through this. See all the slides, which is great. So now we're on step 15, which is to simply wait for the installer to finish. So we'll go ahead and give that a moment to finish. Okay. So, as expected, for the expected result for step 15, the installation complete dialog appears. So I'm going to go ahead and do step 16, which is to click on the Restart Now button. And indeed, I got the prompt to remove the media and push enter. Finally, the machine reboots and it properly loaded Ubuntu, which is excellent. So we've just performed our first test case. And as you can see, it was really straightforward to perform the install entire disk test cases, but there are a few more exotic ones out there on the tracker, and I would encourage you to go ahead and continue to expand and push yourself to tackle more and more interesting test cases. So let's talk quickly about how we would actually add a test result. Go ahead. In this case, it's simply a pass result. We don't have any bugs to add. Critical bugs, as it says here, would be a bug that we found that would completely prevent us from passing the test case. Again, we didn't find any bugs that prevented us from passing the test case. Normal bugs are bugs that we simply discovered while passing the test case. In this case, since we actually have a successful installation here, if we found any bugs, maybe something looked a bit funny, or we didn't get quite the expected result as we expected from the test case, we could enter a bug. And again, if we have any comments about the result, we could add those there as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and submit this result. And once it submits, we'll actually see a result here with my name, the last update, any bugs, and my comment. Now, the other thing that you'll notice on this page is that there's these bugs to look out for. So if you do find a bug, it's really handy to take a look at bugs that have been previously reported for this, and you can do so by hovering over. In this case, there's a lot, so on some of these images it's a bit tough, but it can help you out for reporting a bug to help you look for a duplicate. So, as you can see, there's my result. In addition, if you scroll to the top of the page, you'll actually see a link to the bug reporting instructions. And for ISOs in particular, it can be difficult to understand where exactly you found the bug or where to file the bug against. And so there's some handy links here about finding the right package to file against, and the Bug Squad's wiki page on reporting bugs, as well as this handy little chart for problems encountered during the installation, while trying to boot the ISO, booting the system after installation, graphical display after installation, or an actual application. So, if we go back to the walkthrough, we can actually take a look here. We have finished our test case. We've determined that we don't have any bugs, and we've submitted our result. And so now we're ready to explore more test cases and to look at some of the more exotic test cases on the ISO tracker and consider trying to tackle some of these test cases. So I hope this helps, and thanks for watching.